I'm 80 years old, and I need to tell you something that nobody warned me about, something that might save your life, or at least save the life you could be living. I spent 55 years building what I thought was a good life. I worked hard, provided for my family, did everything I was supposed to do. I followed the rules. I played the game. I won by every measure society uses. And now? Now I sit in a house with 4 bedrooms and no one to fill them. I have a phone that doesn't ring. I have a calendar with nothing but doctor's appointments. I have neighbors who wave but never stop to talk. I have everything I was told to want, and I have never been more alone in my entire life. For decades, I believed a lie. I believed that if I worked hard enough, provided well enough, achieved enough, everything else would just work out. The relationships would be there when I needed them. The friendships would survive on their own. The family would always come back. I was wrong. I was so terribly, catastrophically wrong. And now I'm going to tell you the truth that took me 80 years to learn, not because I want your pity, not because I need anything from you, but because you still have time. You still have time to avoid the life I'm living now. You still have time to build something real. You still have time to show up for the people who matter. I didn't, and the price of that mistake, it's more than I ever imagined paying. So sit with me for a few minutes. Listen to an old man who learned everything too late. Maybe my pain can become your wisdom. Maybe my loneliness can become your wake-up call. 3 years ago, something happened that shattered everything I thought I knew about my life. My wife, Margaret, died. We were married for 52 years. 52 years of shared meals, shared beds, shared silences. She was the one who remembered birthdays. She was the one who called the kids. She was the one who organized dinners with friends, who sent Christmas cards, who kept the connections alive. I just showed up when she told me to. I thought that was enough. I thought my job was to provide, to protect, to pay the bills. I thought her job was everything else. And then she was gone. I was 77 years old when I buried her, November 14th, 2021, a Tuesday, cold rain, a small gathering at the cemetery. That night I sat in our living room and waited. I waited for the phone to ring. I waited for someone to check on me. I waited for my children, our 3 children, to stay. They didn't. My son David lives 40 minutes away. He came to the funeral, stayed for the reception, and left by 6 o'clock. Something about an early meeting the next morning. My daughter Susan flew in from Seattle. She was gone by Thursday. My youngest Michael, he didn't come at all, sent flowers, a card that said, "Thinking of you, Dad, thinking of me." And then, silence. I sat in that house alone, surrounded by 52 years of photographs, and I realized something that nearly destroyed me. I had no one, not because people didn't exist in my life, but because I had never actually built relationships with them. I had been present in body, absent in spirit. I had been a provider, not a partner, a father on paper, not in practice. Margaret had been the glue. Margaret had been the bridge. Margaret had been everything that connected me to the people I claimed to love. And without her, I realized I was a stranger to my own family. 3 weeks after the funeral, Christmas came. Do you know what it's like to spend Christmas alone at 77 years old? I do. The house was quiet. I didn't put up a tree. What was the point? I made myself a sandwich, turkey, some leftover stuffing from a frozen dinner. I sat at the dining room table, the same table where we'd hosted 35 Christmas dinners, and I ate alone. No phone call from David, a text from Susan. "Merry Christmas, Dad. Miss you." Nothing from Michael. At 8 o'clock that night, I walked into the bathroom and looked in the mirror. And I didn't recognize the man staring back at me. He was old, he was tired, he was utterly, completely alone, and he had done this to himself. That's when it hit me. Not gradually, not gently. It hit me like a car crash. I had wasted my life. Not because I hadn't achieved things, not because I hadn't worked hard, but because I had achieved the wrong things. I had worked hard at the wrong goals. I had spent 55 years climbing a ladder that was leaning against the wrong wall. And now I was at the top, alone. Let me tell you how I got here. Let me show you the pattern, because maybe if you see it clearly, you won't repeat it. When I was 25, I got my first real job, engineering firm, good salary. I was hungry, ambitious, ready to prove myself. I told myself, when I get established, then I'll have time for everything else. So I worked 60 hours a week, sometimes 70. I missed dinners. I missed weekends. I missed the first year of my marriage, really. Margaret understood. She was patient. I got the promotion. And then I told myself, when I make manager, then I'll slow down. I didn't slow down. At 35, David was born. I remember holding him in the hospital, this tiny, perfect human being, my son. I swore I would be there for him. I swore I would be different from my father, who was never around. But there was a project at work, a big one, career-defining. I told myself, when this project is done, then I'll be the father I want to be. The project ended. Another one started, so I waited. At 40, Susan came along, then Michael at 43, 3 kids, a growing family, a bigger house, more expenses, more pressure to provide. When they're older, I told myself, when they're in school, things will calm down. Then I'll have time. They went to school. I missed the plays, the games, the parent-teacher conferences. Margaret went to everything. She told me about it afterward. I nodded. I said the right things. But I wasn't there, so I waited, again. At 50, I became vice president, corner office, company car, everything I thought I wanted. When I hit executive level, I told myself, I'll finally be secure. Then I can relax. Then I can focus on family. I hit executive level. I didn't relax. At 60, Margaret suggested we take a trip, just the two of us. Paris. She'd always wanted to go. We'd talked about it for years. Next year, I said, things are crazy right now. Next year came, things were still crazy, so I waited. At 65, I retired, finally. After 40 years, I was done. I had the pension, the savings, the freedom. You know what I did with that freedom? I played golf, alone. I watched television, alone. I sat in my home office, checking stocks, reading news, filling time. Margaret tried. She suggested trips, classes, volunteering together. She wanted to build something in our retirement, a life together. I was tired. After 40 years of working, I just wanted to rest. Maybe next year, I said. Let me just enjoy doing nothing for a while. There was no next year, not the way we imagined. Instead, there was a diagnosis, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave her 6 months. She lasted 4. And I never took her to Paris. That trip sits in my mind like a wound that won't heal. 40 years of next year. 40 years of waiting. And when the time came, there was no time left. I had the career. I had the title. I had the money. I had the respect. But I didn't have the marriage I could have had. I didn't have the children who actually knew me. I didn't have the friendships that could sustain me. I didn't have anything that actually mattered. I had built a beautiful house, and I had forgotten to live in it. Let me tell you the lies I believed, the lies that stole my life, the lies you're probably telling yourself right now. Lie number 1, I have time. This is the most dangerous lie of all. It's the lie that lets you postpone everything. It's the lie that makes later feel safe. I had time. I had time to take Margaret to Paris. I had time to go to David's baseball games. I had time to call my mother more often before she died. I had time until I didn't. You think you have time too. You think there will always be another Christmas, another birthday, another chance to call. You think the people you love will always be there waiting for you. They won't. Time is the one resource you cannot earn back. You cannot negotiate for more. You cannot buy it with any amount of money or success, and it runs out without warning. Lie number 2. When I achieve X, then I'll be happy. The goalposts always move, always. I told myself I'd be happy when I made manager. I wasn't. I told myself I'd be happy when I became VP. I wasn't. I told myself I'd be happy when I retired with a full pension. I wasn't. The achievement high lasts about a week. Then there's a new goal, a new milestone, a new mountain to climb. And meanwhile, life is happening all around you, life you're missing because you're so focused on the next thing. I achieved everything I set out to achieve. And you know what? None of it kept me warm when the house got quiet. None of it called to check on me. None of it sat with me on Christmas. Lie number 3, relationships will maintain themselves. This one nearly killed me. I thought love was automatic. I thought family was permanent. I thought if people really cared about me, they'd be there no matter what. But relationships are like gardens. They need tending. They need attention. They need time and effort and presence. I gave my garden nothing for 50 years. I showed up for the big moments and vanished for the daily ones. I expected the harvest without ever planting the seeds, and now my garden is empty. My friend Robert understood this too late, just like me. Robert and I met in college. We were close for years. Then careers happened, families happened, life happened. We talked maybe twice a year, sometimes less. He died 4 years ago, heart attack. At his funeral, his daughter gave the eulogy. She said, "My father worked hard, he provided for us, but I wish I had known him better." I sat in that church and thought, that's going to be my eulogy. That's going to be what they say about me. Is that the legacy you want? Is that what you want your children to say? That they wish they had known you? Because let me tell you something. The busy excuse, the "I'm doing this for the family" excuse, the "they'll understand when they're older" excuse, they don't hold up. Not when you're 80, not when you're sitting alone, not when the phone doesn't ring. You want to know what haunts me, not the big failures, not the obvious mistakes. It's the small moments, the ones I didn't even notice I was missing until they were gone forever. Let me tell you what keeps me up at night. The fishing trip I never took with David, he asked me when he was 12. A father-son weekend at the lake, nothing fancy. Just the two of us, some poles, a rented cabin. I said, "Maybe next summer, buddy. Work is crazy right now." Next summer came. He didn't ask again. He'd learned by then not to ask. He'd learned his father would always have something more important. David is 52 now. We haven't gone fishing. We haven't gone anywhere together. And now he has his own son. A grandson I've met exactly 4 times. 4 times in 11 years. That fishing trip would have cost me 3 days. 3 days out of 50 years of working, and I couldn't give it. Susan's piano recital. She was 9. She'd been practicing for months. Some Beethoven piece. She was so proud, so nervous. She told me about it every night at dinner for weeks. The recital was on a Thursday. I had a client dinner. Important client. Big account. I chose the client. Margaret recorded it on our camcorder. I watched it later. Susan kept looking at the audience, looking for me. You could see it in her eyes, the hope, then the disappointment. She stopped playing piano that year, said she lost interest. I believed her. I know now she didn't lose interest. She lost the person she wanted to play for. My mother's last birthday. She turned 83. She lived alone, 2 hours away. I called. I sent flowers. I said I'd visit soon. I didn't visit. She died 6 weeks later. A stroke. Quick, they said, painless. I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to tell her what she meant to me. I didn't get to hold her hand one last time. Because I was too busy. Busy with what? I can't even remember. Whatever meeting or project or crisis that seemed so important then, it's completely erased from my memory now. But the absence at her bedside that I remember with perfect clarity, the conversation I never had with Michael, my youngest. He came to me when he was 17, said he wanted to be an artist, a painter. He had talent, real talent. I told him to be practical. I told him artists don't make money. I told him to get a real degree, a real career, a real future. He listened to me, studied business, got a corporate job, hates every minute of it from what I can tell. He also hasn't spoken to me in 9 years, not since Margaret's 70th birthday party. when he told me I had crushed his dreams and I told him to grow up. I was wrong. I was so wrong. He's 47 now, still not painting, still not happy, and I did that to him. I took his passion and I buried it under my own fear, the love letters I never wrote. Margaret deserved a husband who told her she was beautiful, who left notes on her pillow, who surprised her with flowers for no reason. I wasn't that husband. I assumed she knew. I assumed actions spoke louder than words. I assumed that providing was the same as loving. After she died, I found a box in her closet. Inside were all the anniversary cards I'd given her over 52 years. Store-bought, generic. Happy anniversary, love, Harold. That's it. That's all I gave her. 52 years, and I never wrote her a real love letter, not once. She saved those cards anyway, because that's who she was. She found meaning in the scraps I gave her. She deserved so much more. And the friend I lost. Not to death, to neglect. His name was George. We met at work in 1971, became close. Families had dinners together. Kids played together. We talked about everything. Then I got promoted, moved to a different division, got busy, stopped calling. He called for a while. I always meant to call back. I always said I would get to it. Eventually, he stopped calling too. That was 30 years ago. I don't even know if George is still alive. I think about him sometimes. Wonder what happened to him. Wonder if he thinks about me. 30 years of potential friendship. Gone because I couldn't pick up a phone. These are my regrets. Small moments that add up to a lifetime of loss. And you know what's worse? I had the time. I had the opportunity. I had the choice. I just made the wrong one over and over and over again and over. After that Christmas alone, something broke inside me. Or maybe something finally woke up. I sat in that empty house and I made a decision. I was 77 years old. My wife was gone. My children were strangers. My friends had disappeared, but I wasn't dead yet. I had time left. Not much, but some. And I was not going to waste another day. The first thing I did was write letters, real letters, to each of my children. I apologized, not the vague, "I'm sorry if I hurt you" kind of apology. Specific. I named what I had done. I named what I had missed. I named the pain I had caused. David's letter was 3 pages. Susan's was 4. Michael's was 7. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I didn't expect reconciliation. I just told them the truth, that I had failed them, that I was sorry, that I loved them more than I ever showed. Susan called me after she got hers. We talked for 2 hours, first real conversation we'd had in 30 years. David came for dinner the following week. Awkward at first, stilted, but he came. He keeps coming now. Not every week, but once a month, sometimes more. Michael hasn't responded. Maybe he never will. I've made peace with that. The letter wasn't about getting something back. It was about finally telling the truth. The second thing I did was leave the house. I joined a grief support group at the community center. Tuesday nights, a circle of people who understood loss. For the first time in my life, I talked about my feelings out loud to strangers. It was terrifying, and it was the most connected I'd felt to other humans in decades. Some of those strangers are friends now, real friends, people who call just to check in, people who invite me to lunch, people who notice when I'm not okay. At 78, I learned how to make friends, actual friends, not colleagues, not acquaintances, friends. The third thing I did was start saying yes. A neighbor invited me to his book club. I said yes. A woman from the grief group asked if I wanted to take a watercolor class with her. I said yes. My grandson invited me to his soccer game. I drove 2 hours to get there. I said yes. I stop now for things I would have rushed past before. I sit on park benches and watch people. I talk to cashiers. I wave at children. I am present in a way I never was when I was young and busy and important. And you know what I discovered? I'm happier now at 80, with less time ahead than I was at 50 when I thought I had all the time in the world. That's the cruel irony. The thing I was chasing for 55 years, contentment, peace, connection, I only found when I stopped chasing. I only found it when I realized how little time I had left. The desperation clarified everything. When you know the end is coming, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop caring about status. You stop worrying about what people think. You focus on what's real. What's real is people, relationships, moments of genuine connection. Everything else is just noise. So now I'm going to talk to you, not about me, about you. You're reading this. Maybe you're 30. Maybe you're 50. Maybe you're 65 and thinking about retirement. I don't know your situation, but I know you're probably making the same mistakes I made. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you called your parents, not texted, called, heard their voice, asked how they're really doing? When was the last time you put down your phone and really listened to your kids? Not half listening while you check email, really listened, looked them in the eyes, asked about their lives, their fears, their dreams. When was the last time you told someone you loved them, not assumed they knew, actually said the words? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'll do it later. Things are busy right now, but I'll make time soon. You won't. I know because I said the same thing for 55 years. Later never comes. Soon never arrives. The perfect moment doesn't exist. There is only now. And now is slipping away from you faster than you realize. You're thinking, but I have responsibilities. I have bills to pay. I have a career to build. I can't just drop everything. I'm not asking you to drop everything. I'm asking you to reorder your priorities. Your career will not hold your hand when you're dying. Your bank account will not call you on Christmas. Your job title will not show up at your funeral and weep. Only people do that, and only if you've given them a reason to. You're thinking, my family understands. They know I love them. They know I'm doing this for them. They don't understand. Not the way you think. What they understand is that they come second. What they understand is that something else is always more important. What they understand is that your love comes with conditions and schedules and limitations. Children don't remember the toys you bought them. They remember whether you were there. Spouses don't remember the vacations you paid for. They remember whether you were present. Friends don't remember your success. They remember whether you showed up. If you died tomorrow, would you be satisfied with the life you've lived? Not successful, not impressive, satisfied. Would you be at peace with how you spent your days, with the relationships you built, with the love you gave and received? Don't answer quickly. Sit with that question, because I sat with it at 77 and the answer nearly destroyed me. The answer was no. It was an overwhelming, devastating no. Don't wait until you're 80 to ask yourself that question. Don't wait until you're alone in an empty house. Don't wait until the people you love are gone. Ask it now. Answer it honestly, and then do something about it. If I could go back and talk to my 30-year-old self, here's what I would say. Stop. Stop telling yourself you'll have time later. You won't. There is no later. There is only now, this moment, this day. Later is a lie you tell yourself to avoid making hard choices. Stop prioritizing work over people. Your career will end. Your company will replace you within a month of your departure. But the damage you do to your relationships, that lasts forever. Stop assuming your family knows you love them. They don't. Not unless you show them. Not unless you tell them. Not unless you prove it with your presence, not just your paycheck. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to take that trip, have that conversation, make that change. It doesn't exist. Every moment you wait is a moment lost. Stop saying yes to obligations that drain you. Every yes to something meaningless is a no to something that matters. Guard your time like the precious resource it is. Start calling your parents. Today. Not next week. Today. Ask them about their lives, their memories, their regrets. Learn from them while you still can. Start showing up for your kids. Every recital, every game, every awkward school play. Be there, be present, put the phone away and watch them. Start telling people you love them, your spouse, your children, your friends. Say it out loud. Say it often. Say it before it's too late. Start taking the trips. Paris, Japan, the Grand Canyon. Wherever you've been dreaming about, go. Don't wait for retirement. Don't wait for the perfect time. Book the flight. Start doing the things that scare you, the career change, the creative project, the difficult conversation. Fear is a compass. It points toward the things that matter most. Start saying no to extra projects that keep you from dinner, to social obligations that drain your energy, to anything that takes you away from what truly matters. If you want to repair a relationship, start today. Pick up the phone, write the letter, show up at their door. Don't wait for them to make the first move. Don't wait until you know what to say. If you want to change your life, start today, not Monday, not next month, not next year, today. One small step, one small change. Begin now. If you want to tell someone you love them, do it now, before this day ends, before something happens, before the chance is gone forever. The time you have is not guaranteed. The people you love are not permanent. The life you're living is the only one you get. What are you going to do with it? I'm 80 now. I've been living differently for 3 years. 3 years out of 80. 3 years of actually being present. 3 years of showing up. And these have been the best 3 years of my life. That sounds impossible. I'm old. I'm alone most of the time. My wife is gone. My health is declining. My future is measured in years, not decades. But I'm awake now. For the first time in my life, I'm actually living instead of just existing. I'm having conversations that matter. I'm building relationships that feed my soul. I'm saying yes to experiences instead of obligations. I had lunch with David last week. We talked about his childhood, the things he remembered, the things he missed. It was painful, but it was real. More real than any conversation we've had in 50 years. I went to my grandson's birthday party. I sat on the floor and played with him. I let him show me his toys, explain his games, tell me about his friends. I was present, fully present. It was the best afternoon I've had in years. I wrote another letter to Michael. I don't know if he'll ever respond, but I'm going to keep writing, keep reaching out, keep trying, because that's what I should have been doing all along. But I would give anything to have those 55 years back. Do you understand that? Anything. I would give every dollar I ever earned, every achievement I ever celebrated, every promotion I ever received. I would give it all to go back to David's 12th birthday and take him fishing, to go back to Susan's recital and sit in the front row, to go back to Michael's 17th year and tell him to follow his dreams. I would give anything to hold Margaret's hand one more time, to tell her I love her, to take her to Paris like I promised. I would give anything to have started at 25 what I finally learned at 77, but I can't. Time doesn't work that way. The past is gone. The mistakes are made. The opportunities are lost. All I have is now, and so do you. The difference is you still have time to change. You still have time to show up. You still have time to build the life you actually want instead of the life you think you're supposed to want. Don't waste it like I did, please. Don't wait until you're sitting alone in an empty house, surrounded by regret, wondering where your life went. Start now. You have a choice right now, today, this moment. You can close this video and go back to your life exactly as it was. Keep postponing. Keep waiting. Keep telling yourself there's time. Or you can wake up. You can pick up your phone and call someone you love. You can put down your work and be present with your family. You can stop chasing things that don't matter and start building a life that does. The choice is yours. It's always been yours. But here's what I need you to understand. The clock is ticking. Every single day you wait is a day you lose. Every moment you postpone is a moment you never get back. Every later is a never in disguise. You don't have as much time as you think. Nobody does. I didn't. Robert didn't. Margaret didn't. Your parents don't. Your grandparents don't. The people you love and take for granted, they don't have forever either. So what are you waiting for? What magical day do you think is coming when everything will be perfect and you'll finally be ready to live? That day is today. It's always been today. Someday is now. The permission you've been waiting for, I'm giving it to you. An 80-year-old man who wasted most of his life is giving you permission to not waste yours. Go, live, love, show up while you still can. If this story reached you, I hope you'll share it, not from me. I'm 80. I don't need followers or fame. But somewhere out there is a 30-year-old making the same mistakes I made, a 40-year-old putting family second, a 50-year-old saying later to everything that matters. Maybe this can reach them in time. Maybe my regret can become someone else's wake-up call. Subscribe if you want to hear more. I have more truths to share, and honestly not much time left to share them. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Tell me who you're going to call. Tell me what you're going to stop postponing. I read every single comment. At 80, I have time for that now. And I would love to hear your story. Your time is precious. Thank you for spending some of it with me. Now go. Go call someone you love. Don't wait another day.